Hello, my name is Camille Johnson, and I will be talking to you guys today about e-cigarette usage in youth. Scholar Michael Siegel states, e-cigarette pessimists are stuck on the idea that anything that looks like smoking is bad. And while I do not usually advocate for judging a book by its cover, I think it is definitely necessary in understanding and investigating the long-term effects that smoking has on teens today. So according to the 2018 National Youth Tobacco Survey, there's been a significant surge in e-cigarette usage among our youth today. Specifically, there's been a 78% increase amongst high school students. According to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, this increase accounts for 3.05 million youth out of an estimated 3.6 million youth using e-cigarettes today. This surge is specifically concerning, considering that this same survey indicated that there were general rates of decline from the years of 2015 to 2017. So as a biologist and somebody who aspires to go to pharmacy school, I'm definitely interested in how the body works and how outside forces disrupt our body's homeostasis. And so I'm very interested in understanding the long-term effects that e-cigarettes have on our youth today. So we all know that our youth are the leaders of our world tomorrow. And so I want us to first imagine a scenario in which we invest in the health and proper brain development of our youth today. What do you guys envision that world looking like? What sort of innovations do you think would come from this investment in our youth today? And on the flip side, I want us to think about a scenario in which nicotine and drug dependencies are something that our youth are afflicted with, as well as stunted brain development. And I want us to think about what that would look like and how our vision from scenario one would be impacted based on these things. So I think we can all come to the conclusion that scenario two is definitely not ideal. And in order to prevent scenario two from happening, we should definitely move toward the elimination of e-cigarettes amongst our youth. So today I will be talking to you guys about the dangers of the unknown, risk of nicotine in youth, as well as the adverse effects in brain development when it comes to e-cigarette usage among our youth today. So before I dive into the direct effects that e-cigarettes have on our youth, I will first discuss how our limited scope of information poses a threat to e-cigarette users. So e-cigarette liquids are heated to very high temperatures and create an aerosol. And these aerosols have both known and unknown components. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the known components include ultrafine particles that can be inhaled deep into the lungs, flavorants that are linked to serious lung diseases, volatile organic compounds, heavy metals, and nicotine. And while these are known components, there are also many unknown components that we have yet to discover and have yet to really understand on a deeper level. To make matters worse, labels can be very deceiving when it comes to labeling of e-cigarette products. So as you can see from this table, 3 different e-liquid samples were labeled that they had no nicotine present in the product. However, the tests that were run in a study by Goenowitz et al. Showed that there was definitely nicotine present in the sample. This study also showed that labeled concentrations of nicotine were significantly less than what was determined in their study, which is also very concerning. Okay, so In the book, Vaping Controversy, 21st Century Turning Points, Lori Hillstorm lays out the history of e-cigarette regulation in the United States. In April of 2014, the FDA proposed new regulations for tobacco products. In this proposal, they classified e-cigarettes as a new product to be regulated by the FDA. It wasn't until August of 2016 that the FDA officially gained regulatory power over e-cigarettes. So this now gave them the power to evaluate ingredients, product features, health risk, and the appeal of products to minors and non-users. I don't know about you guys, but that seems like a pretty recent regulation to trust that there are no long-term effects of this product. Okay, so while our limited knowledge of e-cigarette use is dangerous, the nicotine found in most e-cigarettes pose a direct threat to our teens today. So according to WebMD, nicotine, or the juice in e-cigarettes, is highly concentrated with nicotine. And this juice can cause an acute nicotine poisoning that can be caused through swallowing the liquid, spilling the liquid on the skin, and getting the liquid in the eyes. In an article entitled, "Can You Overdose on Too Much Nicotine?" by Jane Leonard, she states that teenagers are more susceptible to this acute nicotine poisoning than adults. The Surgeon General states that no matter how it is delivered, nicotine is addictive and harmful for youth and young adults. The CDC states that the addictive quality of e-cigarettes, along with other factors, can increase the frequency and amount of e-cigarettes or regular cigarette smoking in the future. They also state that nicotine use in adolescents may also increase risk for future addiction to other drugs. Not only can nicotine lead to poisoning and addiction, but it can also have detrimental effects on brain development of our youth. A study conducted by Truer et al. Found that there was a greater increase in attention issues from adolescence to adulthood in twins who smoked than their co-twins that never smoked. Another study conducted by Jacobson et al. Found that young smokers were more likely to have chronic impairments to the accuracy of their working memory. These memory impairments were more severe as the onset age of smoking decreased. E-cigarette usage also has implications in mood disorders as well, as Moylan et al. Found that tobacco use and nicotine addiction among teenagers increased their risk of anxiety disorders. Jamal et al. Found that earlier ages of smoking onset are associated with an earlier onset of anxiety disorders. So now that you're familiar with the effects that e-cigarettes have on the adolescent brain development, I will draw to a close. I have talked to you guys today about the dangers of the unknown, including e-cigarette contents and their unknown long-term effects. I have talked to you guys today about the risk of nicotine use in youth, including acute nicotine poisoning and addiction and dependence. And lastly, I've talked to you guys about adverse effects of brain development, including attention and cognition, as well as mood disorders. So as you can see from what I presented to you guys today, e-cigarette usage in youth must be eliminated. And as the quote goes, if it looks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it probably is a duck. The same can be said for e-cigarettes as well. If they look like cigarettes, if they operate similarly as cigarettes, and they contain some of the same chemicals as cigarettes, then they're probably just as harmful to our youth today. And here are my works cited pages. Thank you.